Welcome to week 7. This is halfway through the semester.
I'm already halfway there! Halfway there! Halfway there! Halfway there! Halfway there! Halfway there!
So this week we are actually going to focus on learning more about test cases. So by this point you've had some experience with test cases already. You've created some test cases, but we are just going to expand upon that knowledge that you have learned so far. So this week's reading really consists of 2 chapters from Patton's software testing. So those 2 chapters are listed here. Chapter 17, planning your test effort, and chapter 18, and chapter 18, writing and tracking test cases. So that's really it for this week for the reading. Pretty typical as previous weeks. Take the reading and then the quiz. Similar to last week, we are going to work on more test cases and Selenium tests. But this week, you and your group will actually be deciding on the web application that you want to use. So just keep in mind that whatever web application you decide on, it needs to be more complicated than the calculator used last week. So you get to choose any type of web application that you want to use. So just go ahead and read through this here, a little bit more about some important notes to make and some information around that. I will read this one here. It says, make sure that your partners and your instructor have access to this website. Something that sits behind a password or a firewall would not be a good choice for this assignment. So obviously I need to be able to go in and take a look at this. Your partners need to be able to go in and have access to this web application as well. The next part of this then is you have to come up with at least 4 requirements that would be applicable for the web application that you chose. So that's completely up to you. So it gives an example here for a requirement. So it says the submit button can be accessed through a mouse click or by clicking enter. So that's just an example. So after you come up with your 4 requirements, you're then going to come up with a dozen or so test cases to thoroughly test your Selenium requirements. So based off your requirements, you're going to come up with test cases. So that'll be it for this specific assignment for the lab. So you're going to come up with your web application, you're going to come up with the 4 requirements, and then a dozen test cases based off your requirements. So the last part of this week's assignment is literally the same thing that you did last week, with the only exception being the new test cases based off your 4 requirements for your web application that you created. Not created, but decided to come up with. So it's literally word for word here as the instructions as last week. Only difference is that you're going to be using your new web application. Like last week, you'll want to create a script and then do your recording, and then for your submission, you're going to upload the video and then share the link in the submission field. And that is it for this week. I do want to note that there's going to be no template or no examples provided for this week. With that being said, you and your partners will need to figure out what contributes as a good test case. So please consider sending a draft to me if you want me to look it over. And if you really want me to provide any feedback on anything, just let me know. I'm happy to help.
That's all! Oh, I'm sorry, after you. No, not at all, after you. I insist after you. Oh, no, after you. After you, 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 after you.